Hi! Recently I did an unboxing video of a vintage NuTone 8-note door chime cover. In that box came along with it this. This is a Heath Zenith, some kind of electronic door chime. It may be a model TR0070BX. I did a quick Google search and I couldn't find anything out about it. I don't have any idea how old it is or anything like that. Obviously it passed the quality control check here, and it's got a sticker that says 4SH39, but I couldn't find anything out about this. They make a zillion different Zenith Heath products, and it's likely they didn't even make this themselves. It just came from some wanky kind of place. So I thought I would do a quick teardown of it because I was just curious as to what's inside. So before we take it apart, we're going to violate the rule and we're going to turn it on first. So I've just got 16 volt AC power supply off the workbench here. It's got pretty standard connections. It's got transformer and then front and rear, so it apparently would wire up a lot like a standard door chime would. And if we just apply power to it, that's pretty hideous, actually. That's like the worst thing ever. Let's turn the volume. It's got a little volume control here. That makes it a little bit better. And then it has a front tune select A and B. So that was the B tune, and we'll move it to A. And that's a pretty hideous sounding Westminster chime. It does make this sort of buzzy sound when you apply power to it. And that could possibly be because you're supposed to put a diode across the button or some nonsense like that. But regardless, let's take a look at what's inside, because, you know, people like teardown videos. And we will put the screws in the little metal cup as we normally do, even though in the end this whole thing's going to go to the electronic recyclers, because I got no interest in this other than the idle curiosity of what might be inside. Alright, see if we can get the cover off here. At least it's not like welded. It had 4 screws. There we go. They certainly don't want it to fall apart, do they? Alright. Put that over there. And what we've got is we've got an 8-ohm 5-watt speaker cone. It looks like it's about 4-inch cone, and then we've got a single circuit board here and some wiring that connects things together. So it's a pretty much bargain basement design down to a price kind of product. Down here on the circuit board it says Desa Specialty Products, copyright 2004, Common IC 2.2 revision. So the circuit board probably not made by Heath Zenith. In fact, probably the whole thing was not made by Heath Zenith. They just bought it from this other company and slap their name on the housing and you're good to go. So let's go ahead and take this off. All you've got on this side is you've got 2 little surface mounted components. So it's a double-sided board. No, it's a single-sided board, which makes more sense because a double-sided board would be too expensive for a product like this. On this side, not a lot going on. So you've got basically the most bare minimum possible to make the whole thing work. You've got a voltage regulator here. This is a 5-volt, probably 1-amp voltage regulator. You've got some power supply diodes here. You've got a main filter cap. You've got some resistors and diodes down here. So there's 4 diodes here and 4 diodes here, which would sort of imply that it could be like 2 bridge rectifier kind of things. And then Down here, you've got probably, these are filter capacitors. You've got some ceramics, a tantalum down there, probably part of the volume control circuit. And then right here, which is a little hard to see, you've got right here, you've got an integrated circuit. It's just a little blob on the board. So it's not in a package, it's just the die on a board, and then they plop a little sealant over the top of it to cover it up, and that's all you get. It's the least expensive type of IC that you probably can get, and it's probably some kind of little micro that it's what contains the songs and maybe some sort of little operating system that makes the thing work. On the board it says it's revision A 3404, bunch of gibberish numbers, 885-0070-04, TS0494V-0. I don't know what any of that means, but it's kind of interesting that they did this on this little vertical board here. So this is the main board, and it's got this little vertical board here that's got the IC blob on it, and if you turn it over on this side, it's soldered onto the main board here. And probably the reason they did that was because this part probably changes over time, or maybe they make different versions of this board for different applications, and that way the fundamental board, you can make a zillion of them, and then the little boards get soldered in depending on what model it's going to be used in. So it's a design for manufacturing thing. It helps keeps costs down and all that kind of stuff. It has the very highest quality Chong capacitors. I've done videos about Chong capacitors before. They are the very highest quality capacitors that you possibly could find when you sweep up the floor in the factory at the end of the day. This is entirely designed down to a price. You got two little surface mounted parts here, which is kind of interesting. Let's see if we can see what maybe they actually are. A little hard to read. Sometimes what you do is you can wet them and you get a little better contrast. It's not a number that I recognize. This is an LM358, which I think is a little op amp. And this one down here, I don't know, it's an RT82V799. And I would have to look that up, but honestly, I don't really care. They're probably both little op amps. That would be my guess. Anyway, it's just kind of a cheesy little doorbell. This board probably costs 30 or 40 cent board to have manufactured in quantity. So whatever they're selling this junk for, they're making pretty good money on it. It has a really horrendous sound. It has this sort of faux vibrating tube sound thing that they're kind of trying to reproduce like real tube chimes have. And I would say it's entirely unsuccessful. So it's pretty much just junk. This will go, I'm going to cut this apart. I'm not even going to save the speaker because I don't have any application for an 8-ohm 4-inch speaker, so what's the point? This will go to the electronic recyclers, as will the speaker cone, and the rest of it goes in the trash because I don't care. I'm not keeping it. It just takes up space. So I just thought I'd do a quick teardown. I hope you found this interesting. If you did, give it a thumbs up on YouTube, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, and I'll see you on the next video.